Today I want to share with you my thoughts on the BMC Timemachine Road 1. This is my own personal bike, which I've had custom made. I've been riding it for the last 6 months and nearly 1,000 kilometers, so I've had a chance to ride the bike and put some time into it. So in this video I want to share with you what I like about the bike and what I don't like about the bike. Maybe you're considering getting this bike for yourself, or maybe you're just wondering how it handles. So in this video I want to share with you my thoughts on the Timemachine Road 1. One of the things I really like about the Timemachine Road 1 is the ICS, or the Integrated Cockpit System. This is super nice as I don't have any wires, cables hanging out of my handlebars. It's very nice, clean, sleek, and no nonsense. It's also extremely aerodynamic. The cables are all very well hidden. Even if you look underneath the stem, you will not find any cables. Although it is a two-part system, handlebar and stem combination, BMC has hidden the hydraulic lines and derailleur cables completely out of sight. Furthermore, when BMC created this design, they created enough room in the head, stem, and frame unit that there is enough slack on the cables and the wires to pull it out so you can easily remove it when packing it to fit inside a bike box without disassembling the hydraulic lines and the derailleur wire. To me, this is just fantastic. I really love that about the bike. And this was a major criteria for me when I was looking at other bikes that had fully integrated systems. As I travel internationally, I want to be able to take my bike in and out of the bike box quickly without having to reinstall and bleed the brake lines. This is kind of a pain. And so with BMC's ICS, I can easily do this myself without having to hire a mechanic or have somebody else help me. Therefore, I can actually spend more time riding the bike. The other thing that I really like about this bike is the Aero Module right here. That includes 2 bottle holders and the small storage unit located down below. What I like about this is that I can use 2 water bottles on my bike and still maintain aerodynamic efficiency. Both a 550 milliliter or a 750 milliliter standard water bottles could fit here very easily. It is made by Elite also, but I can use other branded water bottles as I desire. Also with a small storage unit in which I can put a spare tire, tire levers, and a multi-tool. This is just great storage unit and is ideal for me because I don't like carrying a saddlebag. Furthermore, the weight of the storage unit is located lower to the ground and centrally located onto the frame. It maintains a better center of gravity when I want to stand up and sprint. Lastly, this whole Aero Module can be removed. And by doing so, I've been able to shave off some weight and keep my power output down. The Aero Module can also be configured in several different ways to however you desire. The other thing that I really like about this bike are the disc brakes. The front end has 160 millimeters and the rear end is 140 millimeters, so you have good braking power without sacrificing weight. I like the rear disc brakes at 140 millimeters. I don't really need much stopping power on the rear wheels. Also, I can shave down the weight a bit. I feel really confident in the hills when I ride with this bike. The fourth thing that I really like about this bike is a huge compliance factor, and this was a big factor for me in deciding to get this bike. The biggest ride I've done on this bike on Turkish roads is 235 kilometers. I've ridden this bike on tarmac and on some gravel roads. By no means though, this is not a gravel bike, but I've taken it off roads and also on some rough roads. So when I switched to this bike from my endurance setup frame, I was afraid it wouldn't be able to handle the long rides. However, I was completely wrong. The compliance on this bike, the comfort on this bike is just top notch. And also having the nice wide tires makes it really ride comfortably, almost like riding a Cadillac. It isn't sluggish by any means. In other words, in the long haul, in the long rides, it's really comfortable. Fifth thing that I like about this bike is that the drivetrain is extremely responsive when taking off the line. The power shift is good without any flex on the bottom bracket. It's really stiff and rigid. My front and rear derailleurs are SRAM Red ETAP 11-speed setup, and my rear derailleur pulleys are the Ceramicspeed Oversized pulleys. I really love this setup, it's really good. My cranks are SRAM Red carbon on the right, while I use the Stages Power 3 carbon crank on the left. They're both at 170 millimeters. With this combination, I can power up the hills as hard as I want, push hard on the flats, and go smoking fast on the descents. Actually, this bike scares me going down the descents because it can go so fast that it actually scares me. With the Ceramicspede bearings and the minimally frictioned drivetrain, I can easily blast at faster than 80 kilometers per hour on a descent. Combine this with very low frictioned wheel and tires, and the bike just flies amazingly fast. The wheels are aerodynamically tuned and does well even with higher yaw angles. The wheels don't feel squirmy, but are solid even in slightly windy conditions. The nipples are all tucked to even further aerodynamic gains. The tires that I use are the Schwalbe Pro One tubeless tires, running at 700 by 28 millimeters in size. This is my first time with tubeless tires. Let me tell you, there is a learning curve. It took some trial and error on my part, learning to be confident in using tubeless tires. But I can tell you, I feel more confident with it and have success. From my experience with the Reynolds Aero wheels in combination with the Schwalbe Pro One, this bike is amazingly fast. It just flies. For me, this bike ticks off all the boxes. However, there's one gripe that I have about this bike, and that, well, my bike with the stainless Speedplay pedals, an empty Aero Module, a head unit adapter, and transparent frame stickers for protecting the bike, my bike, this bike, comes in at 8.1 kilos. That's a little bit heavy. I removed the entire Aero Module and I've gotten the bike down to 7.6 kilos. And I've stripped it down like this when I'm doing a time trial, so I can go faster up the hills. I could also change out my drivetrain system. I can also change out the water bottle cages to something that's made out of carbon fiber. I can probably do this in the future, but honestly, if I'm thinking about weight, I can probably lose the weight right here by eating less food. Overall though, I am really happy with the purchase of this bike. I use my own personal hard-earned savings to purchase this bicycle, and I am extremely pleased. There isn't anything that I don't really like about this bike. It just really ticks off all the boxes for me. After riding it for the last 6 months, nearly 1,000 kilometers, I can say that I am extremely pleased with the purchase of this investment. It's been well worth the money. If you've enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see a video on 3 reasons why I think you should commute to work, click down here. Also, if you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear what you have to say. So please comment down below. Until next time, cheers.